How's it going, everybody? It's Stas here. Welcome back to another video. So in this video, we're going to be breaking down and talking about the top couple of stocks and ETFs that I'm personally watching and looking to trade right now, heading into the first full official week of January in 2020. And I also want to break down very quickly here in the beginning of this video the S&P 500 and in particular its performance over these past 5 trading days so we can see what the markets did last week, so maybe we can get a better understanding from a technical basis of what could potentially happen in this upcoming week. And in my opinion, guys, and I preach this all the time on the channel, it's extremely important to keep an eye on the overall markets and to constantly do analysis on the overall markets. Maybe not every day, but a couple times per week. I think it's helpful so you get a better understanding of where the overall markets are trending. And for me, I personally watch the SPX here because it gives us, traders, investors, a look at the 500 largest publicly traded U.S. companies. And I also take a look at the SPY, which is probably the most popular ETF that tracks the S&P 500. So this pretty much mimics the S&P 500 in a way, and I use both of these to track the overall market. So that's a kind of a little side tangent here, and before we actually do get into everything, all I ask from you is if you enjoy this video, simply go down below for me and hit that like button, and also consider subscribing if you want to see further content from me. And don't forget, I actually have a Discord group chat and a Facebook group, the Strive Smart Discord and Facebook, that are 100% free of charge, and those are linked down below if you guys want to be a further part of our community. So without further ado, guys, let's get into here the SPX, the 500 largest publicly traded U.S. companies, and take a look at what's been the performance here over these past couple of days. So you guys can see on the 27th of December, it was a pretty flat day, followed by a dump off on the 30th of December. If you guys remember, the S&P went from 3240 all the way down to about 3217. Then the following day after that, on the 31st, we actually sold off again. And if we go here to the hourly chart so we can get a better understanding of the trend, that was actually a healthy pull down for the S&P, right? We were very overextended, all-time high after all-time high. This was a very much needed pull down from 32.45 down to about 32.15. So from there, we pretty much followed the trend, hit yet again another all-time high. Then we got that crazy news around Iran and the United States, where the United States killed a general over in Iran, which caused a ridiculous spike in the price of oil and the markets to actually tank on Friday. If you guys take a look at this, that uptrend really didn't hold itself too long there. If you guys see, actually it's still intact, but it didn't hold this overall trend here. It seems like we broke below that a bit, but either way, this pull down actually brought us down about, I think it was close to 1%, from that recent all-time high. If we look from the all-time high down to the low that we actually hit Friday, once the market opened, it is around 1%. So that was a little pull down. And if we look at the price action here on the S&P, guys, honestly, it seems like we're holding 3230 very nicely, which is good for the bulls, in my opinion, for a continuation here in the uptrend. And we can see here on the hourly, we're also holding this 50 SMA. So overall, very rocky these past couple of days. The VIX is up. It was up rather 12% on Friday, which is insane. And if you guys don't know what this is the Volatility Index, also known as, a lot of people call it, the Fear Index. When people are scared in the markets, when something crazy happens, like the Iran situation, maybe trade war related stuff, people panic, start selling off in terms of their stocks, the VIX spikes up like crazy. And you guys see that, it went again up 12%. Gold, I haven't checked gold, but another thing when people are panicking, people flood to gold. And you guys can see gold has been crushing it here over these past couple of weeks. Now we're back into the 1550s on gold. And I believe, we're about to start testing that high from back in September, which is insane. So market update, guys, really the past 5 days, volatile. Up, down, this craziness with Iran. The VIX has been spiking. Gold has been spiking. So this is leading me to be a bit cautious. Although I am in a bunch of swing trades right now, I'm still a bit cautious heading into this week and with what swings I'm actually picking over these next couple of weeks. So with that out of the way, let me know down below in the comments, what are your thoughts on that? I'd love to know your opinions on gold, the VIX, the markets, just everything. Let me know down below. Now, let's just hop into my list of stocks here that I want to buy maybe this week or maybe the next week that I just honestly see a lot of potential in. So the first one is Disney, ticker symbol DIS. And this is one that I noticed a breakout, I believe it was a couple of days ago on this 4-hour chart. And you guys can see it. We started downtrending from 153 down to about 145. And we actually ended up holding that 145 area of support that, if you guys take a look over the past, I'd say month and a half, 2 months at this point, we've held 145 once here in the beginning or more towards the middle of November. We held it again in the middle of December, again towards the end of December, and the fact that we held it again a couple of days ago and that 180 SMA, and the fact that we're breaking above that 50 SMA, which has been a resistance during the sell-off period, these are all signs that Disney's breaking out. Let's be honest, guys. This is looking like a continuation of the uptrend for Disney. And if we even pull back a bit, to this yearly chart, you guys can see we actually held that 50 SMA on the yearly chart, and this is looking like a bull flag on the yearly chart as well for Disney. So this, in my opinion, is a screaming buy in my eyes. That doesn't mean for you it's a screaming buy. For me right now, based on my analysis and the way I trade, this is a screaming buy, and that's why I'm mentioning it first here in this video, because it's really the one that I see the most potential in, over this next, maybe 2 weeks, month and a half. This is one that I'm really eyeing up here. Another blue chip stock is going to be McDonald's, ticker symbol MCD. And you guys can see on this yearly chart, we didn't dump off here, which would have been a really bad thing because we would have broken that uptrend that we see on the 3-year chart. Let's zoom out to the 3-year chart. If we were to dump here, guys, we would have broken the long-term uptrend, the 3-year uptrend. And going back to that yearly chart, if we were to dump again, that would be really kind of like a head and shoulder pattern, which could lead to maybe a price of $180 per share on McDonald's, $170, and maybe even lower. So the fact that we didn't break and we're actually breaking up, above the 200 level, this is a very bullish sign in my opinion, especially since we're looking to fill the gap up, above 200 now to 205 and maybe even test that 180 SMA. This is looking fantastic to me. So for McDonald's, where am I going to enter? Where do I want to enter? Ideally, $201 per share, $201.50. That's probably where I'm looking to buy in here. Again, Disney probably more attractive for me, and for McDonald's, I'd probably give it, a day or two to see what it ends up doing at 201. Do we break it? Do we hold 201 a couple of days? But ultimately, if we end up doing that, holding 201, I think that could be a nice entry point for the gap fill up to 205, which does give us roughly, let's take a look, guys, probably around a 2-3% potential for profit. And obviously there's a lot more than just that, because if we break 205, I could see, no joke, guys, McDonald's going to around 212, maybe even 215. Which does give it around, another 5 to 6% potential from around 201. Let me take a sip of water, guys. My throat is messing up with me. But either way, McDonald's, this is one that it's just been beaten down and it's finally showing a recovery. And these are stocks that I'm sure you guys know this by now if you've been following the channel. These are stocks that I chase. These are the stocks that I like, especially for swing trading, right? So MCD, that's one that I'm watching here. Let me pull up my phone again, guys. Give me a second. NIO is the next one, ticker symbol NIO, and this is an interesting one. We had that ridiculous earnings report. The stock went from 240 all the way up to about 487, or actually exactly to 487 if I remember correctly. Yep, 487, you guys can see. Now we're pulling down, seeing some profit taking, which is extremely natural and normal because the stock went up 90%, guys. That's ridiculous. 90% move, you're going to see a little bit of profit taking, which is completely normal. And the fact that we actually popped from here, that's a really good sign, and this is also looking like a bull flag here on the 5-day, actually more like on the daily chart. If we take a look at that, you guys can see the big pop, and now we're really consolidating at around 380. So for me, to get into NIO, I need to see a break back into the $4 range, and from $4 up to $4.50, that's a chunk of profit, probably around 11, more like 11-12%. And then from there above $4.50, I honestly think, guys, if we get above 450 here, start to push back up to 480 to test this level, I think NIO will be to $5, no problem. So that is one that I'm watching more on the risky end. McDonald's and Disney, definitely safer than NIO, but if you're chasing, larger potential gains, I think NIO is one to definitely keep an eye on here. So the next one is going to be Facebook, ticker symbol FB. This is one that I really think is still at maybe it's definitely not undervalued. It's not like a screaming buy at this point, but in terms of other tech stocks, we've talked about this on the channel, Facebook definitely is, I would say, the most undervalued one that still hasn't really, popped to its highs quite yet. Honestly, we're still not at the all-time highs that we were at about a year ago on the stock, right? You guys can see it. It's been over a year since Facebook has hit that all-time high at 218. And honestly, guys, from 208 to 220, that's kind of the range here that I'm looking for Facebook. And that's why I own shares right now. I've been buying Facebook, as many of you guys know if you've been following my channel. I actually bought some, I forget actually exactly what day, guys, but I bought some here. I was red on my position for a couple of days during the pull down, but I believe I did buy some more here, and now I'm up on the position a very small amount, very, very small amount. But this is one that, again, I'm looking to hold to about 220, and at that point, where we are now up to 220, that should offer around a 5 to 6% profit potential here on ticker symbol FB. And like I mentioned, we have a huge controversy now between Iran and the U.S. and it's been a controversy for a long time now. It's been a lot of tension. That's a better word for it. And we can see crude oil spiked up like crazy. What day was this? On the 2nd of wow, I still can't believe it's 2020, guys. A little side tangent. I looked up here at the date. It said 1/3/20. Wow, that's crazy. We're in 2020. Anyway, $61 here. We ran up all the way to about $63, and that was a 4.5% move. And it seems like the killing of the general, it spiked up the oil prices here. So I'd wait and see, is this uptrend going to continue? I think it probably will here since it's been rallying up. And until we break this 180 SMA, honestly, the uptrend is continuing, right? So for me, what am I looking to trade? UWT and DWT are two inverse ETFs that, honestly, I haven't talked about on this channel in probably months because I haven't been trading them or watching them. Honestly, I haven't really been trading crude oil at all recently. I go through phases, guys. It's weird. But for me, I'm definitely looking for a UWT entry at this point. UWT, this is actually an ETN, not an ETF. That was a mistake on my part. But UWT goes up whenever crude oil / CL is going up in price, right? Crude oil is going up 1%. How does that work? Well, UWT is going to go up 3% because it's a 3x leverage. So right now, we did see a pull down on UWT from around 16 bucks down to about 15.20, and it seems like the uptrend, it's holding itself. So what am I looking for? Maybe in tomorrow's session, we end up pulling down even further, maybe to test that 50 SMA, which I'm not sure will happen since the uptrend, or really the momentum here ever since that crazy thing that happened a couple days ago, it's up. The momentum is up, and it seems like we want to rally further from here based on the close of UWT on Friday and its action in the aftermarket hours. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it. This could be a dip, maybe back up to 16 bucks, maybe 17 bucks here on UWT. That could offer around a 3 to a 4, maybe even higher percent of potential. So crude oil, definitely worth watching here. It's going to be volatile, so be careful. I'm being very careful with it, but with the conflict now, I think it's definitely worth watching. Another one that's, seeing a bunch of conflict as well is Boeing, ticker symbol BA. And this is one that I'm seeing as a horizontal play. And why am I calling it that? Because the pattern we're seeing here is a horizontal pattern from around 330 up to around 375. And it seems like we've held that in the past multiple times, right? And we are holding it yet again right now when we're breaking above that 50 SMA, showing me that this wants to push up. Now, all I need to see for me, and I've mentioned this in previous videos, I need to see a break into the 340s at least before I consider building a position. And this is one that it's a bit risky right now due to the 737 MAX. They just fired their CEO. Some people may argue that the price of the stock, it's priced efficiently now based on everything that's been going on. Maybe the floor of the stock is here. Some people may argue that, but me being more, a risk, Me being, more of a conservative investor and trader, I'm not thinking this is the floor quite yet. I'm not 100% on this is the floor right now. So I'm not going to load up quite yet. And even if I buy Boeing, I'm going to make it a smaller position due to that risk. But I still see the potential here due to the technicals really telling me that this could be a bottom. But again, who knows, guys? If something else crazy comes out about Boeing, bad news, this could easily go to my next target on the downside, which is going to be $300. I think if Boeing fails to hold 330, $300 flat is the next spot it's going due to this support level you guys see. Actually, maybe not 300, maybe about 315, then 300. But either way, if we break 330, 315 could be a potential short play, even though I don't really short stocks ever, but that could be a potential short play. But if it does, guys, in terms of a long swing play where I'm buying strictly shares, it's not going to be in play for me because that's going to just be a downtrend beginning and just really against how I personally trade. But either way, Boeing 340, that's where I'm looking to buy. Maybe more at around 345, 350. That is the plan. So the last two stocks here are Alibaba, ticker symbol BABA. This is the one that we called out, but we missed our entry because it really gapped up and ran and really didn't give us a point to enter here. I believe on what day was this? The 2nd of January. You guys can see, and I mentioned in these videos that every point of weakness that Baba has shown, it's really opened up a nice buying opportunity. And this weakness here, I was hoping that it was going to hold into the next day, but again, it rallied up so quick, I wasn't looking, I missed the entry, right? And I wasn't looking to force the entry, up here into the 218s, 219s. But now, with the market being red this past trading day on Friday, this opens up a little bit more weakness. And hopefully, guys, I'm hoping here Baba goes down somehow tomorrow pre-market, maybe to 214. 215, maybe tomorrow morning, and that's where I would really consider buying some Baba shares to build a swing position here on the momentum that the stock has been seeing. But then again, guys, this is at all-time highs. It's one of those that it could really sell off if we see some bad news out there in the market, which is why if I were to build into this position, it'd be a smaller position, right? I wouldn't, throw a bunch of money at it like I would for Disney, because I think Disney offers a lot more potential here than Alibaba, but that's just me here in the short term looking from a swing trader's perspective. So the last one that I want to talk about here is Netflix, because this one has also shown some weakness here over these past couple of days that I'm looking to buy up. And we can see here we filled the gap beautifully from $317 all the way up to about $340 per share. From there, we actually pulled down back to 322. Seems like we're holding that 50 SMA, or we were rather, but now we ended up closing below it, which could end up leading us to dump down here to maybe 318 again. But at this point, if we do that, that's where I'd like to see a potential support hold for it to hold that level, and I'd look to enter there, at around 318, maybe 320. But again, the fact that we did not really close on a nice upswing here, it makes sense because the markets were red. I wasn't really expecting Netflix to kill it on Friday, but the fact that we are showing a little bit of a downtrend here, or the start of one, that's leading me to be a bit cautious, but I still see the potential here. If we rally back up, maybe into the 330s, 330 to 340, that could be a tradable range here, on Netflix. So overall, guys, that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys found some value in it. If you did, feel free to go down below, hit that like button for me, and again, consider subscribing if you want to see further content like this. And I have a deal for you down below. If you want 2 free stocks valued up to $1,400 from Webull, you can use my affiliate link down below and deposit $100, and you get those 2 stocks, no strings attached, free of charge, and it supports me directly, my channel directly, and the content that I'm putting out to you guys for absolutely free directly. And I really do appreciate you guys if you do use that link. So I'll catch you all in the next video. Thanks again for watching. As always, hope you all had a fantastic weekend and you guys kill it in the markets this week. Peace out.